Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
Major news. We have reached 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. 40,000 Give and Go viewers, supporters, haters, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
The community continues to grow. And we amassed 40K, bro. 40K.
Dude, 40K is a lot, man. That's a lot.
That's a
I'm
lot.
really, really proud of that. And I'm happy to have literally anybody be a part of this family. Let's get to 50. Let's get to 100 because I think we have so much just football stories, knowledge, experience to share, man. And I'd love to hear what other people have to say, too. So this is just the beginning, bro. Let's keep this ship riding, man.
Yes,
Come on.
Yes, sir. 40K. What's a stadium that has 40K? Anfield?
Okay.
I think Anfield might be close to 40. 54. Emirates is 60. St. James Park 52. God damn, bro.
What about like BMO Stadium in Toronto?
Okay,
Look at that one.
22. Fuck, man.
Good Lord.
Can we get close to 40?
I think there would just be some random World Cup stadium that was built specifically to have 40.
What about like Valencia Stadium?
Okay, yeah.
What's the name of theirs?
Valencia's is the Mestalla?
Okay, we're getting closer.
50.
We're getting closer.
Just under 50.
We're getting close, but fuck, man. That's why we need to hit that 50K, bro. That's what we need. We need that Mestalla fucking capacity. God damn. We are happy to announce that we will be implementing a 2-episode-a-week format. And we're committing to it, bro. Mm-hmm. 2 episodes a week. We've been doing 1 episode a week for almost 2 years now. We've noticed that we just have a lot to pack in terms of content, commentary, and whatnot. So with 2 a week, I hope it can help facilitate that as well as give us an opportunity to more quickly react to events such as news or matches that happen in the events leading up to the podcast. So all in all, big changes for the Give and Go and something to look forward to if you're a subscriber.
Yeah, we're going to be working hard for y'all, and it's going to be an absolute pleasure. So looking forward to what this whole entire new season has in store, man.
Man.
You see Atletico get the win today against Manchester City? 2-1, baby.
Bro.
2-1,
I didn't even know they played.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit.
And that's actually kind of my point is, are you watching any of those European preseason tours that are going on in Asia? You know, Japan, Singapore, and then obviously, as we usually have, all of the European teams coming here to the States. You watching any of it? You following any of it?
I made a very conscious decision to fully commit to not watching a single one of these exhibition-friendly games happening either here in the U.S. or overseas. Haven't even looked at highlights. The only game I watched in full was yesterday, the Barcelona Real Madrid game. And that was only because I knew it was happening at Cowboy Stadium, which is close to home. And I was like, you know what? I'll tune in for this one. Outside of that, I refuse to stay in the loop of that because I really want to get invested in Leagues Cup, Women's World Cup, and just other things that are happening around the world that I will bring up later down the line.
Yeah, I would love to know just our audience's take on European preseason in general because I actually have the same sentiment as you, dude. I don't really watch or care for any of the preseason matches. I'll look at the scores. I'll see who's scoring. I'll see, the starting lineups, the rotations that are occurring with the coaching strategies that they're employing for these preseason matches. But I don't take any meaning for them, And I wonder, is that like a very common, popular sentiment for like Americans only? Is it a European perspective to have? I do really wonder because, dude, some of these atmospheres are crazy
that
lit.
That does stand out to me. The atmospheres have been insane. I think the thing is, Americans here, I think we all just take it as an opportunity to just have a good time, bro. Like, the games don't actually have any true weight. I saw Real Madrid fans and Barcelona fans kind of like just embrace the opportunity to have a good time collectively. Yes, you're playing against your biggest rival, but Madrid was down 3-0. I saw Madrid fans like smiling in the stands. Yeah. But that's, I guess, the beauty of exhibition matches is that there's no weight to it. Yes, it does matter a little bit if it's a rivalry, but overall, you just get a great chance to just show up, see your favorite players, and provide a crazy atmosphere that they can feed off of.
That's the thing is that the vibe that I get from a lot of these games is almost parade-like. You show up to a big stadium, packed house, 80,000 at like Cowboy Stadium, for example, and you see your dream club that usually plays across the Atlantic play right in front of your eyes. So it's hard to like why would you be upset even if you're losing 3-4-0? Like, you get to see all of your stars, all of your idols right in front of you. So it's like, enjoy it, you know? Really enjoy the moment, have a really fun atmosphere, and also get to see pretty high quality football, even if it is preseason. But you actually talked to me about this a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, but I came across it today. Youri Tielemans POV footage playing on the pitch live against Newcastle. Bro. That was crazy. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, it looked almost nightmarish. Like, truly. Like, we are so used to that bird's eye view of having either the camera's perspective or literally just being up in the stadium yourself. But, dude, being on the pitch, dude, there wasn't a moment to breathe for Tielemans. Not a single second. If you're a central midfielder, your one job is to keep the ball and try and just keep it moving. If you can't do that, you're not going to play at any sort of level. But it was just incredible to see, man. Again, the thing that really stood out for me was the closing of the space. Every single time there was one, if not two, Newcastle players just trying to close Tielemans' angles down. And I was like, wow. To be able to get through that, to know that it is coming, and then have a move prepared for it, but also to have the ability to adapt and improvise in the moment, whether it's through a dribble or through like a little slip through ball pass. It's such an art, man. It's such an art form to be able to be like a truly highly talented central midfielder.
That video taught me the beauty of what it means to be a substitute, because just the climate that he entered, one that had already been established for like the first 60 minutes, to come into that and then right off the bat be expected to perform at a very high level seems bonkers to me. I was actually really surprised with like how he just had to immediately adjust and, like you said, adapt to the play that was at hand. And that's crazy, bro, considering the high level that you have to play at consistently every single minute at this level. And Tielemans put on a fucking show in that sense, a life lesson to be reminded of when it comes to the level and the difference between a professional player in the Prem versus just your regular average Joe in a fucking Sunday league. Dude, it's crazy.
Exactly. And then also you hear him like barking out orders in English, but also like in French or Belgian or whatever the hell. I was like, damn, that's just so cool to actually see, because especially with soccer, man, with football, we really don't get this type of insight. Like, we just don't get it at this level, at the Premier League level. I would love to see this for like a right back or basically every elite position. I would love to see the same type of footage. Like, what does a goalkeeper see for, 20-minute stretches of the match? And, like, what does it look like when he goes out to attack like an oncoming winger at full pace? Like, what does that look like from the actual perspective? Or to see, like, a more forward-lying attacking midfielder? Like, is his spaces even tighter than Tielemans? And obviously his role is very different, but just to actually see that perspective would be so cool to see, man. Especially since it's just literally the highest level, man. Yeah. Literally the highest level. But we got all these games going on, and Borussia Dortmund are in Vegas, right?
Okay.
And ESPN FC had Edin Terzic and Emre Can on for like a nice 20-minute interview. And dude, first off, Terzic is so well-spoken, man. He's very, very fluent in English, but he's just very focused. He's a very focused guy. He knows exactly what he wants out of his club, out of his team, and out of his players just in general, like how he wants them to set up defensively, offensively. But one thing that really stood out of this interview, man, is, dude, Dortmund, that last game really hurt them. Like, really, really badly. They talked about it.
They talked about it?
Terzic talked about how, really the only way he can look at it is to maintain a really positive outlook, which honestly I applaud, because he was talking about how losing that game really hurt Dortmund because he was talking about how he was literally within an inch away of the trophy, which they were. And now he has to take all of that information that they accrued over last season, repeat it this year, but expand on it to where you actually win it this year. Jesus. And that's crazy. Jesus. But that's the thing, man. Dortmund, they haven't had this offseason off. Because the moment that game ended, obviously there was mourning. Obviously there's a lot of frustration and disappointment. But then you have to look up and be like, all right, we were this much closer. Now we have to do the exact same thing this year, fix our mistakes, and let's actually pull it off this time. That's the only type of mentality that you can. But, dude, the amount of pressure that top European level clubs have to face on a week-to-week basis is ridiculous. And I was just so in awe of like how mentally strong like a guy like Terzic is for this club, because he has to be. Dude, if there was any doubt in Terzic's mind that this club couldn't win, they're not getting anywhere near that trophy, bro. Anywhere near it. So he has such a massive job to not only line up his team to win, but also to get them mentally prepared for another crazy season.
Shit, man. Then why are they in Vegas, bro? That's the worst place to be, man.
I know.
They're distracted, man. They got to focus on the fucking goal at hand. Yeah, it's a game of inches, and to lose by an inch, essentially, in a footballing sense, is so detrimental to the coach, the ownership group, the fans, the players. I wonder how much of that is is like authentic to what he actually does. Like, does he believe when he goes to sleep at night, we can do this again?
Right.
Or is his approach, I need to be positive for the guys because I'm a coach. This is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I need to project an image of hopefulness and optimism and security. I wonder which is the real one, bro, because I just don't think things like this, heavy things like this, like losing to Bayern in the final game after Bayern had a very bad season in which they could have taken advantage of. I just don't think things like that can be easily blown by.
There's so much work to be done if you don't end up pulling it off, if you don't end up winning it, almost to a point of detriment to where you have to work twice as hard even though you were an inch away from winning it, because you have to be able to convince the players that you have that they can do it all over again, and you still have to turn the knobs just ever enough to where your mistakes are fixed from last season, but your identity and style to succeed is not gone. One thing that he really highlighted that he wanted to fix this upcoming season was their goals. They conceded like 44 goals in the Bundesliga, which, you know, he obviously wasn't happy about that considering there's only, 34 games a season. And so if they would have fixed that, they would have won the league. Even if they conceded, honestly, 4 goals less in, the right moments, they would have won the league. It would have been theirs. So that defensive weakness for Dortmund is something that they have to fix. But since Dortmund is so focused on being very electric offensively, being incredibly dynamic, how do you find that right recipe to be very sound defensively and not hinder your offensive identity, man? That's a conundrum, because you literally can't just flip a switch and be like, all right, we're more defensive now. You can't do that. There's so much nuance that goes into understanding the type of players that you have and then setting them up in an 11 formation that is successful and conducive to winning an entire fucking season. And Dortmund have to do that. Terzic has to figure that out. Turn the knobs in just the right way, but also Bellingham's gone. A season ago, Haaland left as well. So there's so much adaptation that has to go on, man. And it's really, really tough. Can they actually do it again? And, expanding this idea, I have the same worry, the same sentiments for Arsenal. I actually brought this up, back in March or April when it was looking like City were going to overtake them. I said that, if Arsenal don't win it now, I don't think they'll win it anytime soon. Even though they've been able to maintain a lot of their players that they had in last season and actually add in more, I just think the task of playing the exact same way but actually doing even more is really tough for a team that has no recent history in winning. I think it really is a huge mental task than anything else, man, because, bro, Arteta already looks stressed as hell. Already, that game against the MLS All-Stars, that wasn't an exhibition for Arsenal, bro. There's no rest if you work for Arsenal FC. There's no rest. As soon as the season ends, you're like, all right, we know what we have to do. We have the personnel to win the league. Let's do it right this upcoming season. There's no way that Arteta took a day off. There is no way, because he knows how close he is. He knows he has that opportunity. But what's crazy, man, is the pressure that the fans also put on all of them, because it's actually an interesting cycle, because it's what drives them to be so successful. It's what keeps Arteta up at night, knowing that all of Arsenal are going to look at him to be the guy to succeed, to make these players tick. They can do it. They've shown that they can get really close. But Jesus, man, when you have teams like City or teams like Liverpool improving in the offseason and you didn't win it last season, that can get really tough. And then let's go to Italy. Napoli, a team who finally won the Scudetto after 40 years? Something like that, 35? Can they maintain it at the summit? Can they go back to back or even get close and maybe finish like second or third? Because Napoli, at least in recent memory, has no history of winning. But does that matter to them? Does it matter to a team like Napoli? Or are they more like, all right, we know we're that good. Let's just run it back. Let's just beat these teams. But when you look at a team like Milan, who made a good Champions League run last year and made some really good signings this year, it's just not going to be easy. It's the beauty of football, right? Nothing's given to you. Everything has to be earned. But I'm just really interested. And I think Napoli also lost their coach too. So there's a new coach coming in. That can't be, the best thing to see if you're like a player. Knowing that your coach is just different, you're going to have to play in a different system. Things are just going to be not the same anymore. That's just inherent. That's very obvious. But I don't know if that's a good thing. Especially if you're Napoli trying to go back-to-back or even get close. I don't like it, just if I'm a Napoli fan. But there's so many different stories like that across Europe is, can things be maintained? What will change? If you go back to the Premier League, Aston Villa getting some really good signings, man. And Brighton, actually, even though they lost McAllister, they've been able to be active in the transfer window too to try and at least maintain some semblance of their success last season. Can they actually do it, though? Newcastle United too, there's so many interesting stories this season that are directly related to what happened just this past season. So I almost see this season as the direct sequel to last season.
Yeah. I agree. It's feeling like that.
It's what it feels like. It's almost as if this is it's almost as if this is like a two-parter.
Yeah.
We had part 1 last year, and we have part 2 to close things out, because I still think a lot of stories aren't done, aren't complete.
Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Whatever they manage to do this upcoming season will be impactful towards deciding even the title winner, I think. I think they could contend for a top 4 spot if they live up to their potential with Pochettino at the helm.
Yeah.
Liverpool getting better. Tottenham making improvements as well, getting James Maddison. A team like Aston Villa, can they sneak into the top 6? Newcastle United, they're playing amazing football now, and they got Sandro Tonali to rely on as well, too. Nearly every top 10 Premier League team improved themselves this offseason. So I'm interested to see how that impacts a Arsenal, or rather a Manchester City as well. I think there's an argument to be said that Manchester City has grown a little weaker this offseason, just a little, which isn't much given that Manchester City has always found a way to adapt to the losses that they have and the transfers they have coming in. But losing a guy like Gundogan, a born winner, bro, an engine for this Manchester City team that came through for them so many times late in the season, that type of presence leaving the squad. Can Pep just cover that up with a Kovacic? I don't think so. Not with him specifically. Maybe a different player takes that role upon himself, but right now I don't know who that'd be. Losing Riyad Mahrez, bro? That's an insane one. A winger that could start on nearly every single team in the Prem, going to Saudi Arabia. Probably the best get that Saudi Arabia has gotten this offseason, to be honest. Riyad Mahrez can still ball at a high level, 32 years old, and played more of a bench role for Manchester City. But we've seen before that bench role, the ability to just come on and dominate on the wing, is so important for how City operates. Well, now they don't have that, bro. And instead, the biggest get that they had this offseason is Gvardiol in that back line, which is just something that they already had, a very solid back line. I think it's going to be a very exciting upcoming season that awaits us with, in my perspective, a Manchester City team that has dropped a little bit, just a little bit, and every other team that wants to compete growing and improving their level and their quality at a higher pace, man. It's going to make for an amazing, amazing season.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for this season. I've been hyped, obviously, before, but there's something about this season that just is getting me really, really giddy, really up. Just seeing, even the U.S. men's national team stories, like Tim Weah also going to Italy, Folarin Balogun probably going to leave Arsenal and looking like he might go to Inter. And obviously Pulisic at Milan. I think there's just some really cool stories going around in Europe, man, that I really want to see, because I think they'll have so much impact for their club specifically, but also at the national team level, man.
And likewise, just in La Liga, Barcelona, they look good, bro. They look good. It was an exhibition match, but I think getting Gundogan is almost 100%. The guy they needed to save that fucking squad. They looked really good, bro. They looked really good. And Real Madrid, they have a little bit of a conundrum they need to figure out. Without Benzema, direct 9 up front, how do they get their goals? I'm interested to see how a team of that caliber, of that quality, can figure out an issue as simple as we just need a number 9. We need someone up there that can finish off all these opportunities, because Vinny and Rodrigo are losing their fucking minds, and Jude Bellingham already looks set to take on a very offensive role for this team. My boy Arda Güler, meniscus injury, out for the next few months, so we won't get to see his full potential. But regardless, how do the 2 biggest teams in Spain and 2 of the 5 biggest teams in the world react to a very interesting offseason as well?
Madrid's situation with Benzema, we've seen this play out before with Bayern last year, losing Lewandowski to Barcelona, and we saw the impact was immediate. You know, they put in Choupo-Moting as that number 9, and he did very well, honestly. I thought he was a lot better than I was expecting him to be. He came into that role very well, scored the goals that he needed to, but overall, they missed Lewandowski. Like, they had a lot more involvement from the wings with Gnabry, Coman, Mane when he was healthy, when it was working for him, but there were moments in the season where they just weren't finishing. You know, they were struggling, or they'd have 10 opportunities, but instead of putting 4 of them away like they usually would, they'd only put 1. Yeah. You know, so their efficiency rate went down, I would say, considerably. And I think Madrid are going to have the same problem, man, because the amount of weight and pressure that they put on Benzema to score essentially every other game was so immense. But since he was so good, one of the best number 9s we've ever seen, he was actually able to deliver, man. So, yes, Rodrigo, Vini, even Bellingham from a midfield position, they're going to score goals. And they're going to be very good at doing it because they're elite, bro. Like, we're talking about some of the best wingers and midfielders on the planet. But they're going to miss a number 9 nonetheless, because that's just something you can't replace unless you literally have a number 9 in that position that's just as good. Maybe like a Harry Kane or an Mbappe if he's able to come in.
That's what I was going to bring up. I don't think Mbappe plays for PSG, bro, in the upcoming season. I think it looks set like he is going to leave to some other club, whether it's the Saudis, whether it's Real Madrid. You look over at the Kingdom of France, and there's a very interesting storyline over there as well with PSG. I think we're going to see one of the weirdest PSG squads we've seen in a long time, man. Marco Asensio, Ugarte. They got rid of the GOAT, Messi from the team. And Neymar, what version of Neymar will we see? Will he be able to sustain health for a full season?
Yeah, no, the whole PSG situation is just honestly frustrating to watch. They've tried to win the Champions League for so long. And they've had so many different projects where it actually looked like they were going to pull it off. I would say this last year and even the year before, there were projects that looked very promising because you had Neymar, you had a very focused Mbappe, and then you also had Lionel Messi, who just left Barcelona but was still willing to play at a very high level with a very good club like PSG and try to also win a Champions League. They had the midfield to support them with Paredes, Verratti, for example, and you know they still had some really good center backs, Marquinhos, Kimpembe. It was a really good team that they've had over the years, but it's not working. Right? There's no solution that they've been able to find that actually looks like, oh, okay, we have a good core of players that can consistently get to the quarters or the semifinals of the Champions League. I don't think they've been able to find that. And here's the problem. I think the project is almost overrunning its course. Like, I think the hype behind PSG is waning. And I think that's actually a really bad thing because, if anything, PSG has always had hype through their transfers. Through getting, we got the next best 27, 28-year-old in so-and-so's position. Now they're not doing that, man. If anything, there's an exodus coming out of PSG. And do I really trust Neymar to be focused? Do I really trust Mbappe, who for the last 2 freaking off seasons has been wanting to go to Real Madrid, or has at least been flirting with the idea of leaving PSG? And I feel like it's the same thing in every offseason for the last 2 or 3 off seasons. Mbappe's in some sort of situation where it looks like he has other suitors, says he's committed to PSG, and ultimately ends up staying. Somehow the France president gets involved. I don't even know, bro. But there just seems like there's so much involved externally with PSG. But this time I actually think like it's waning down on them, bro. Like I don't see PSG as having like a really, truly successful year continentally. I think they'll still do really well in League One.
Of course.
But
PSG ain't it. Just like how Barca was in it last year. You're transferring that energy over.
I think so, man. I need to see what type of PSG comes out of this year because they need to find a core again. I don't think they really have one anymore, man. And again, I think the players that are there, I just need to see them focused. I need to see them committed to the jersey of PSG, and I'm just not seeing that. I didn't see it last year at all post-World Cup. Once Neymar lost with Brazil, he came back and he was just sad, understandably. Like, I understand that, but he just didn't care. Like, he didn't care at all.
No, I think the World Cup was probably the worst thing that could happen for PSG, with Neymar returning sad, Messi returning satisfied, so there was no hunger or fight in him.
And then Mbappe losing in the final. Like, Jesus. It ruined the rest of their season. Like, genuinely.
Yeah. And then I would throw in the departure of Marco Verratti, I think,
that's a huge
is
one.
a huge signifier on what used to be the core of PSG leaving, man. That's a big absence now. Maybe he isn't that type of player anymore, but just what he meant, what he represented. You think Verratti, you think of him in that PSG jersey. I forgot he was Italian at some points, man. That's the impact that he had. But now he's going over to Saudi Arabia as well, and I think this PSG team is in a full transitionary period. And from what I've seen in the offseason, I don't really like the moves that they made alongside what you're kind of thinking. I mean, Marco Asensio as your go-to guy on the wings just does not convince me in that sense. And then getting a dude like Kang-in Lee from Mallorca really surprised me, because although I do like the guy, I've never been truly impressed by Kang-in Lee, man. I went to Mallorca. I went to go scout him myself and see him in person, and he had a bad game. And that's okay. It happens. It's football. You can have a bad game every now and then. You can be off. You pair that up with Marco Asensio and then a guy like Ugarte and whoever else they managed to get this offseason so far. I'm not convinced by the project that PSG is trying to sell to me right now.
Yeah, and they did the same thing last year when they got Carlos Soler and Renato Sanchez, man. Like, again, Sanchez on his day is incredible, but a big criticism of Sanchez is how inconsistent he is. And then beyond that, also how injury prone he is. And then getting a guy like Carlos Soler from Valencia, captaining that side in Spain, an excellent player, sure, but he's not that PSG caliber that PSG once set for the type of signings that they would usually go for. So while they were good signings from like a rotational perspective, I don't think it was anything that would really get you up. And I see the Asensio and Lee Kang-in signings very similar, man. Like, they're good, but for PSG, I don't think so.
Yeah, you throw in Lucas Hernandez as well, getting signed for like 45 mil, and then Xavi Simons joining the team as well from the Netherlands. That might be something exciting there.
It could be, if he's a prospect,
If he ends up panning out, maybe. But for now, PSG is a little disappointing. I do think we have to acknowledge the last part, the last chess piece, is the existence of Saudi Arabia, man.
Yeah.
How things are looking for them going into this upcoming season. Making a statement in the transfer market world and making it known that they're here, bro. Saudi Arabia has arrived 100% fully. And I'm curious to genuinely see the cultural impact that Saudi Arabia will have on football. Will people actually commit to watching it? Will it be more like a MLS type of league where if you watch it and you're passionate about it, it is very fun and it is growing, but to the masses, it isn't very attractive? How will they go about marketing their league? Because so far they have the players to be able to do it. But all in all, will they attract that interest?
Dude, I really wonder, man. Like, mid-season, whenever that is for the Saudi League, I would love to know the numbers. And I wonder if they're going to even be released. Like, if they could do a comparison of the mid-season of this coming year versus last, what are the TV numbers like? Like, is it like a 2x, a 5x jump in viewership? Or is it like the same just because of the exposure that Saudi Arabia gets naturally? Is it really that hype? Or did the players that they bought actually bring in all of the fan bases that go along with those type of signings? I really do wonder, man, like, are we actually going to see an impact? Like, are we going to feel it? Are we going to be like, oh, a lot of more people are talking about Saudi Arabia, so I guess we should start watching it like on a maybe weekly basis. Maybe it's just like one game, but still like tuning in intentionally to a league in Asia would be nuts.
Do you know where it's streaming here in the States? Is it on Paramount?
So I looked into this. I don't know if they're going to change it for the next coming season, but right now there actually is a streaming service, but it's an Arabic streaming service made for the United States.
Oh, shit.
I forgot what it's called, but it's nothing like CBS, Paramount, NBC, Peacock. Like, it's nothing American, but they made it available in the States to buy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. I want to see what that looks like because, bro, I'm starting to look at how the teams are like fleshing themselves out with the moves that they've made. Al Ahly, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser. They're all looking like genuinely fun teams and what could be like Like, if it wasn't for the somewhat mediocre talent in Saudi Arabia itself, these could actually be very formidable teams, bro. They really could. I think that the gap is still very large between a guy like Marcelo Brozovic and the average Saudi Arabian midfielder. But if the hope is to eventually even that gap and improve the level of play in Saudi Arabia, then we might see the early beginnings of a league that ends up becoming a top 7 league in the world, perhaps.
Saudi Arabia can maintain this and like every season, maybe not go as wild, but still get like top players every single offseason and just slowly grow the league from that perspective. Oh, dude, yeah, I could easily see them like encroaching on that, like, you know, top 7, top 8 type of status from a league competition perspective, man. That would be insane, though. Like, that would be really insane. And it's not even Saudi Arabia specific, but it does kind of bother me that when a player needs out from a top European club, they can't go anywhere. Because for some reason, money really does talk, and I do understand that. But even for a player who loves the game, it still talks, and it's still the loudest person in the room because, like a guy like, say, Maximin, right? He demands high wages because of his skill, and it makes sense. But because of that demand, no one can really afford him. And if Newcastle need to offload him, no one can buy him except for a Saudi Arabia. So again, the fault isn't on Saudi Arabia. That's not what I'm saying. No. I'm just really frustrated that when you get to a certain talent threshold, your options become incredibly limited as far as where you can ply your trade. And that sucks, man.
Well,
because
isn't that like why can't La Liga jump in there instead and make that purchase?
That's what I'm saying.
I haven't seen a single one like that this offseason for them. They've completely done the opposite to what England has gone through this offseason, in which they're silent in the market, bro. Silent. Barely any notable signings outside of Jude Bellingham and Gundogan, who I think was a free. It's crazy what's happening in both, I would say, in both Spain and in Germany, man.
Oh yeah, both Spain and Germany have virtually bought nobody, again, outside of the outliers, but that's what they are, statistical outliers, man. But that's my frustration, man, is, dude, imagine if, you know, come the end of Maximin's contract, he's like, all right, I want a new adventure, but, you know, my wages don't have to be exactly met, so I'm going to go to like a Leipzig, for example.
Exactly.
That'd be crazy, man, because Leipzig could use a player like that, especially since they offload players like Chelsea and like Dortmund and Bayern Munich. They have cap space, you know, they have wages to spend on players. But again, once you reach a certain threshold, man, you just demand too much. And the only teams that can afford you are either Prem or MLS/Saudi Arabia. That's it. And that's not good. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good, man. Again, it has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia having money. I think it has everything to do with how economics have been set up in the footballing world. Because if you take any other aspect, like within the Premier League, Maximin could have gone to another team, right? But obviously teams already have their eyes on other players, so they buy whoever they want. But if he can't go to another Prem team, he's out of options. And I think that's really, really bad. I remember 2 years ago when Hakim Ziyech was looking for another team outside of Ajax. And, you know, he had taken the Ajax team to a near Champions League final appearance, bro, which is insane. But since he crossed that threshold, the only team that could get him would have been Barcelona Madrid or Premier League team. But in my opinion, I think at the time, Ziyech's next step was something right below a Chelsea. It was like a Roma, for example, or like some other really good Italian team like a Juventus. But that doesn't exist monetarily. You can't, if you're those teams, you can't get a player like Ziyech at that time. You don't have the money for it. And that's really frustrating because Ziyech going from Ajax to Chelsea was too big of a step. But there's no opportunity for him to go anywhere else in his career. So it's really, really frustrating, man. And we're just going to see more of this with Saudi Arabia having the funds.
They're taking advantage of it.
They're taking advantage of
it. They're aware of what the market and the economy looks like. So they're swooping in. And that's why it's felt like it's almost been calculated this whole past year, how they've gone about it, because they were dead silent last year and every decade before that. And then all of a sudden, the Saudi Arabian rise is upon us. I think it's interesting, though. I don't know if I'm with you on if it's good or bad. I don't think it can be defined just yet. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of people, I think still the discourse with anything Saudi Arabia, I think for the casual viewer, I see it everywhere on Twitter, online, even on like some sports networks. The idea that Saudi Arabia is ruining football. Saudi Arabia is destroying football. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of something that Iman Shumpert said, the Cleveland Cavaliers defensive guard that won a title with them in 2016, when people talk about how Steph Curry changed the way that basketball is played and how he essentially destroyed the game of basketball. Now, if you watch basketball, a lot of it is 3-point heavy. It relies on your outside shooting ability, and that usually ends up defining who wins the league in today's climate. But what Shumpert said was that Curry didn't necessarily destroy basketball. He just destroyed the version of basketball that he liked the most, which was that in the paint, big boy, bodying up against each other, one-on-one, mano-a-mano type of basketball that was played in the 2000s. So it wasn't with the idea that the future of basketball is in bad hands or that Steph Curry changed it for the worse. He took the game away from what he personally enjoyed. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot with people in regards to Saudi Arabia, kind of leading the future of football into unknown and unprecedented territories, but wishing that it stayed the same as it once was before, because a lot of us liked the kind of football that we had now. A lot of us like that there wasn't that threat of Saudi Arabia coming in and swooping in a player for insane wages and prices. And more than anything, we liked it when there was a very good football economic climate, when you could make a move like, for example, Ziyech going to Roma or St. Maximin going to Leipzig. Now it's all kind of just getting very muddled, and Saudi Arabia is kind of catching the blame for it. And I can't define if it's good or bad yet, because I don't know where exactly it's going. I need to see where it lands first, and if that version is better than what we had in the past.
I'm with you, actually. I like that. And again, it goes back to what I said before. I want to make it very clear. I have actually nothing against what Saudi Arabia is doing. I have no problem with it. If you have the money, get the players. Why not? You're improving your own product, your own league, your own club. I would do the same thing if I had the money and I was an MLS owner. You know, I'd be asking every single European club, hey, is this player free? Because I'm willing to buy him. You know what I mean? I'd have no problem with that. I have no problem with what they're doing. The thing is, I think this climate economically has been going on in Europe for a while now. It's just kind of like you said, I think Saudi Arabia is catching the blame because they're actually exploiting that problem now. They're like, oh, no one can buy these players. We can, so we might as well, right? And whereas in the past, the player would probably just either stay at that club, sign a new contract, or just make a lateral move and go to a club that's like completely equivalent. Yeah. The benefit to that was the player would stay in Europe. So we'd get to see them on a more regular basis, for example, like in the Champions League. But even then, though, I didn't like it because a player's career could get really stale. You know, if they had nowhere to go, they just stay with a club. And if a new player came in and took their position, they just ride the bench for a couple years. And I always hated seeing that. So honestly, I didn't even like how it was a couple years ago. So I just think the economics in Europe are fucked. Like truly, truly fucked. There's nothing we can do about it, though. Like absolutely nothing. I think it's like a bubble. Will it ever get popped? Who knows? Maybe Saudi Arabia is low-key doing these teams a favor.
That's what I'm saying.
They might be resetting something.
We don't know it yet. That's
right.
why I'm not going to say they're destroying football, because this could end up being what was needed. I don't know how, but it could. I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to see what happens and especially next year. What does next year look like? Does Saudi Arabia even go even harder now?
I wonder, man.
Or do they just stay at the same pace? Because by that point, then they could have full-on 11s that are filled with really good players, instead of right now where it's 4 out of every 11 are stars. I'm interested to see what that looks like, man. But Saudi Arabia took advantage, man, and it's just a matter of seeing how it goes.
One last transfer I do want to talk about, non-Saudi related. We talked about him last year. Might as well talk about him one more time, little 1-year anniversary. Taty Castellanos, our boy from New York City, champion in the MLS, went to Girona last year, right? Actually had a pretty good season. This coming year, got the move to Lazio. Yeah. That's the type of progression I'm talking about, bro. You started in Argentina. You go to let's just say it, a bigger league monetarily to the MLS. You make some money. You win a title. You then go to your dream location in Spain. You play for, a lowly team in Girona, a team that plays good football, but never quite has the talent in every single position to, vie for a top 7 finish. Castellanos scores himself, 10-plus goals in his debut season in Europe, and now he's playing for one of the biggest teams in Italy, Lazio. And I'm incredibly excited to see what he can do. The fox in the box, knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. And dude, honestly, I think he's going to have a good career in Italy. Yeah. I don't see why he wouldn't. I really don't. I love the way he plays his game. Very dynamic, very sneaky, and an excellent finisher. So to see this rise, if he continues it, man, holy shit. It'd be so dope.
At what point does Argentina look to him as an option
Dude, honestly.
Like, what's it going to take, bro? Does he have to score 20 plus in Serie A to do it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think if he scores 20 this coming season, he's getting that call for the Copa America.
He has to, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I feel like Argentina has so many of these guys all around the world where they're like bagging themselves a good amount of goals, but not enough to like really break into that front three that they have, which is so defined for Argentina and is so deep too. But it's going to take like a really remarkable season to be able to do it. Do you think he's capable of it, bro? You think so? Because maybe that's what his path is, bro. Like, it's just a really good scorer that's like, you know, like gets 11, 12 goals a season.
Right. That's the thing is, I think he'll definitely get 10. 20? I don't know. I don't think I can confidently say he'll get 20. If he does, I'll be incredibly impressed and not exactly surprised. But I think he'll get 12 to 15. 20 is a lot, especially in his first year in a league he's never played in. And considering he's only played 1 year in Europe, 20 is a lot, dude. You know, it took like Lautaro Martinez being in Inter's academy to really be comfortable playing in Serie A, you know? And Taty Castellanos has to just come in and do that. I think it's a tough ask, but if there's a player to do it, I think Castellanos, the way he approaches the game, is just, it's so nonchalant, but he's so good at it. I like Castellanos. I like what he can do. 20 is a lot, but I think he's gonna have a good season nonetheless.
I actually want to use Taty Castellanos as a segue because it's perfect. Argentine, I want to go to Argentina.
Oh, please.
All right. Last year we had the Atlético Tucumán story take place on this pod, where we would have weekly reminders for our listeners about the path that Atlético Tucumán, a lowly Argentine side, what they were trying to do in the league in attempts to try to lift their first trophy ever, bro, and falling short to Boca Juniors at the very end, losing some steam, and with that, us losing some steam as well, and kind of just ending a little stale, bro. Honestly. Man. Well, there's a beautiful story happening right across from them in Brazil, bro. Will you go to Brazil with me, man?
What's happening over there?
Will you go there?
Talk about third division?
Let's go to Brazil. Let's go to Brazil, where, fun fact, bro, I did not know this. The Brazilian League was founded in 1959, which is incredibly late for a country of the caliber that Brazil holds, man. When you look at England, they founded their league in 1888, bro. Brazil was nearly 100 years after, not 100, more like 70 years. But that's crazy, man, given what they've become, what Brazil's been able to achieve on the international stage. And so that baffled me at first because I was doing a little bit of a deep dive into what is the Brazilian Football League. But more specifically, man, I want to look at the team that is leading the table right now, because Brazil is about halfway through their season right now, and it's in full effect this summer. Botafogo is pursuing their first title in nearly 30 years. They've won the title twice, one in 1968 and then another one in 1995. The last time they won it was when I was fucking born, bro. Insane how long they've gone without lifting their trophy. Botafogo is a team that resides in Rio de Janeiro. They represent a barrio that's there. Currently in first place with 43 points. And I want to bring the Soltero rule into effect. Your rule, could you quickly state what your rule is when it comes to league play?
So my rule, and so far it has not been undone from every time I've applied it. If you're in first place and you amass a 10-point lead, you win the league. But the lead has to be with the same number of matches played. If you have games in hand, it doesn't count. You have to have the same number of matches played. If you have a 10-point lead, they're not catching you.
When I was doing my research last night, Botafogo had a 9-point lead on Flamengo, but also had a game in hand. Okay. Flamengo played 17 games, Botafogo 16 games. Gotcha. Today, Botafogo evened the matches played at 17 with their match against Coritiba.
Did they win?
Botafogo killed them 4-1, and they're now 12 points clear. 17 games played, 14 wins, 1 tie, 2 losses.
Wow.
That's it, bro.
That's good.
An insane amount of victories that they've gone through this season. It's their second year back in the top flight since achieving promotion, and they've only conceded 10 goals against them in 17 matches, bro. Insane. Whoa. What this Botafogo team is doing. First and foremost, I want to highlight their coach, because their coach, Luis Castro, started this project. He was the man that guided them on this fiery hot start in the Brazilian league earlier this year. Well, he decided to leave Botafogo about a month ago. Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr actually reached out to him and hired him to take on the role of coaching Al Nassr in the Saudi Arabian League. So Luis Castro left Botafogo when they already had a 7-point lead at the top of the fucking table, man.
Jesus.
Can you believe that?
Is this guy Portuguese?
He's Portuguese. So Ronaldo just used that Portuguese gene and he got him out of there. But it goes back to your point that you mentioned a long time ago. Portuguese coaches are taking over Brazil right now, man.
Yeah, they really are. It's actually pretty crazy. And they also don't really have any allegiances, man. Like they've done this.
The Portuguese coaching dominance continues because they replaced him with Bruno Lage.
Oh, wait, what? Botafogo?
Botafogo replaced him. Bruno Lage got himself an amazing job. A team that's already in first place with 7 points clear, coming off of that, whether it's a resignation or firing with Wolverhampton Wolves, coming to Brazil and guiding them to what is now a 12-point lead in the fucking table.
Holy shit. Well, congratulations to Botafogo, that region of Rio de Janeiro. I know they're going to be celebrating that time.
Chill, bro, chill. That ain't the Reynoso rule. That's the Soltero rule. That ain't the Reynoso rule, bro.
Oh, shit,
it's so early, man. It's still pretty early.
This is probably the earliest I've ever seen a 10 or more point lead. Like in a big league like this is the earliest I think I've ever seen it. Right at the halfway point, bro.
Yeah,
even less than the halfway point. I think if there's only 17 games played, that's insane.
Yes, bro, it's ridiculous. When you look at other tournaments that they are actively a part of, they were just recently knocked out of the Copa do Brasil, their cup tournament in the round of 16 to Atlético Paranaense, a team which owns 2 of the 3 losses that they've experienced this whole season. They lost to Paranaense in the league and then in this cup tournament as well. But yeah, a little bit. But luckily, they're in the Copa Sudamericana, and they got out of their group stage pretty comfortably in second place with 10 points. They won 2, tied 4. LDU de Quito ended in first with 12, and they're scheduled to face off in the round of 16 against Guarina, a Paraguayan team that's like in 4th place right now. Yeah. So keep an eye on them in that tournament because they could actually be legitimate contenders for La Copa Sudamericana, which would be crazy to see them be able to achieve that. Players to highlight, though. Players to highlight, bro, because when I was catching up on this team, watching the games they had against like Flamengo, against Palmeiras, these big squads, defeating both of them away from home already this early into the season. The biggest player, the standout name, Chiquinho Soares, bro. In 16 games, has 13 goals and 4 assists. I thought this guy was like a young up-and-comer Brazilian that's probably going to get a big move to Europe. He's 32 years old. Just recently had a 2-year stint with FC Porto, but I guess they let him go because of that age. Comes in, joins the Botafogo project, and he's already the best player in Brazil right off the bat. This dude has an absolute hammer for a boot and the physique of a Roman emperor, bro. It's incredible how this guy looks on the field, how he plays, the confidence, just fully embodying like a Brazilian warrior out on that pitch. And he's born and bred for this league, and he's finally having his moment, which is crazy because he's been through like 8 different teams throughout his career, and he's finally thriving and, in your opinion, already lifting up the fucking trophy, man, as MVP. Other players to mention, Cheche, the defensive midfielder, I think has been great for them. Carlos Eduardo, their little sneaky number 10 that plays behind Chiquinho Soares, feeding him all those little naughty balls and getting him in really good positions.
Nice.
The winger, Joao Victor, playing a good Robin-like role to what is Chiquinho's Batman. And then finally their goalkeeper, Lucas Perry, has been insane, bro. 10 clean sheets in 16 games.
Oh my God.
I do believe that a good amount of those games, he's been solely responsible for keeping his team with that donut score, man, because he's been incredible. He's actually a really, really good goalkeeper. All in all, making for a very magical, very fun, very exciting Botafogo team that looks set to lift the fucking trophy once again, man. And I'm just happy because it's a good story. 20 plus something years since they last won it, and a team that I think deserves it, man. I think deserves it. Going through some coaching adversity doesn't matter. The way this team plays, it's like a cohesive Sunday league type of squad, man. They just all know each other really fucking well, and it looks like they fucking go out for drinks after every single game, man. The chemistry is good. The fluidity is perfect. And the jerseys are dope too, man, with that black and white stark contrast. I want to see Botafogo do it, bro. I really do. And with 21 games left in the season,
Oh my God,
will they be able to pull it off?
dude, they might win by like what, 30 points?
Dude, they're on track to get like 90 something points.
Right, that's crazy.
That's crazy
They're able
in
to pull
Brazil,
that off.
man.
Right, that is nuts. But it isn't. It's so nice to see though, because I swear, dude, for like the last 10 years in Brazil, it's been pretty predictable as far as like, okay, it's either going to be Palmeiras or Flamengo, and then maybe like an Atlético Mineiro has one good year, right? Other than that, though, like it's just those two teams and then everybody else.
Yeah.
But to see Botafogo actually be on the top with a good margin, that's rare.
It's
I
rare,
haven't seen
man.
it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna pull it off. And maybe we plan a little trip to Rio de Janeiro, man, and we celebrate with the Botafogans.
That'd be lit, man.
lit, man.
Honestly,
It really would.
catch a home game when they've already won it, so it's like just a party,
Fuck,
dude.
man. And even with today's result, winning 4-1, Chiquinho getting 2 goals,
Damn.
it's just so. It seems like it's destined for this team.
flying
We
high.
won't have another Tucumán situation on this pod, man. I won't be embarrassed like that again, man. I think putting my faith and reliance on Botafogo will pay off. The Women's World Cup is reaching an exciting point now, with them now entering the third round of their group stage matches. And this is one of my favorite parts of just any World Cup, man. When the stakes finally start showcasing themselves, the stage is higher, it's bigger. And we had a crazy moment last night with Colombia facing off against Germany, your pick to win the tournament. A little bit of a bump in the road.
A little bit above the road, absolutely.
Losing to Colombia, but really the thing I wanted to highlight was Linda Caicedo's banger of a goal. In my opinion, the goal of the tournament so far. A quick shift in the box, creating a little bit of space against the German defender, and then an insanely well-struck, slotted finish into the top right corner where spiders nest their webs. An insane finish, an insane goal, and one that I actually thought just takes a lot of fucking technique. Crowd goes crazy, and then with 5 minutes left in the game, I believe, Germany ties it up with a penalty.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the last minute of the fucking match, the 96th minute, with just a little bit of change, Colombia scores a game winner off of a corner kick. Probably the most dramatic game in this tournament so far, and one that was just beautiful to see because Colombians were feeling themselves this time around. Not like that 2022 Colombian team that was in the fucking World Cup qualifiers for men's. This one actually had some heart. It had some soul. And more than anything, they know how to fucking finish, man. They know how to score. Remember that Colombian team that didn't know how to fucking score?
There's a goal drought in
Jesus
Colombia for the
Christ,
longest time, man.
Jesus Christ. And I think they were saving the goals for the women's team because they are firing on all cylinders, and they nabbed themselves a historic victory over Germany. With so much happening in this tournament, I'd like to bring on the Give and Go's friend, Adriana Monsalve, once again, making back-to-back appearances to talk about the things that stood out the most to her so far, because we just have so many different things that we can highlight. I'd like to see what Adriana thinks, because we talked to her last week, and I want to see, does she still think the same about the USA after that tie against the Netherlands? Did she see the France-Brazil match? Adriana Monsalve, take it away.
Hello guys, this is La Monsalve breaking down the Women's World Cup in the Give and Go. What an incredible achievement for France to secure their spot at the top of Group F with a remarkable win over Brazil. Wendell Renard's late header and Eugene Le Sommer's historic milestone as France's all-time scorer in the World Cup showcased the team's exceptional talent and determination. As they will face Panama, Coach Herb Renard's motivational words can fuel their fire even further, reminding them that they are a team of true contenders. Their journey has been one of transformation and growth, overcoming challenges to become the formidable force that they are at this stage. The draw against the Netherlands might have been a setback for Team USA, but the match against Portugal presents a golden opportunity to reveal the powerhouse that Team USA truly is. In tight and crucial games like this one, the team can rely on the vast experience and clutch performances that Alex Morgan brings to the table. Her presence and leadership on the field can make a significant difference in turning the tide in their favor. It's evident that the team is not fully satisfied with their performance so far, so they must bring their A game and demonstrate their skill, determination, and teamwork to secure the top spot in the group. Hard, but not impossible for the world champions. The upcoming World Cup matchups are indeed thrilling and full of excitement. Portugal versus USA and Canada versus Australia are both clashes that promise to be intense and highly competitive. But Japan versus Spain promises to be exhilarating clash between two undefeated teams. Both sides are eager to secure the top spot in the group, making it a must-watch encounter. Aitana Bonmati's performance will be crucial for Spain as her contributions on the field can be a game changer. Additionally, Alexia Putellas in her third game of the World Cup is likely to deliver her best performance yet. Football fans can anticipate an intense and captivating contest with the skill and determination on full display. My pick, Spain advances as the group leader. In a stunning upset, Colombia defeated Germany with a last-minute goal by Manuela Venegas, a brilliant header. As the underdog, Colombia's historical win placed them at the top of the group and strengthened their position to advance further in the World Cup. Cuidado con Colombia! At this stage of the competition, it's challenging to pick a clear favorite as all the teams have showcased their strengths and potential. Spain's elite level of football, possession, oriented play, and tactical brilliance have been truly impressive, making them a formidable force to reckon with in the tournament. But I still believe Team USA will win the whole thing as they have proven track record and a legacy of success in women's football. At this point, La Monsalve is out.
Adriana Monsalve once again with the amazing insight and personality. I love it. Folks, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. And remember, 2 episodes a week now. Let's go, man. I'm excited. We'll be back later this week with another episode. Till next time, guys. Peace.